Well, welcome to our first ever Practice Power coaching webcast. So real quick, I think most of you know who I am, so we'll hopefully dispense with a lot of that. This is Coach Joe Lucas. I am the founder, creator, lead coach in both Practice Power and then also in my other firm, International Performance Group. And what I want to do today is just sort of take you through what this is all about. Some of the changes that are taking place with Practice Power and the timelines for it. Obviously, we're also broadcasting my my screen there, so you kind of get a feel for kind of the agenda here. We're always going to be kind of lean a little bit, and if I'm looking up to here, I've got a little message board here, you know, that we're going to use. I also want to let everybody know that we are recording this webinar. And the replay will be made available to each and every one of you probably the next couple days once we again build that process out. So why are we doing these things? So what's the webcast about? You know, first and foremost, you know, when I founded Practice Power, which, believe it or not, the first version of that website was back in the fall of 2005. Believe it or not, it was really just a place where all my recorded webinars and things that I did for my clients were housed. It was not made for the public. It was not something that was a business or anything for purchase, quite frankly. It was just something that we had. Obviously, over the years, we've morphed it. We've put a lot of money into putting a business plan builder in there, some game plan builders. It is where all my brain power goes, if you will. The challenge with Practice Power, though, it's static. And look, we're all very, very busy people, and it's nice to go in there and kind of do a business plan once a year, and hopefully you tweak it and you do your monthly game plans and things like that, and learn about referrals and morning rituals and daily game plans and all that. But it's really a content site, not a coaching site. And so what we're doing now is, and we're in the process of building out Practice Power to be a multi-platform robo-coaching site service for advisors. So where you can come in, ask questions, get things answered real time, and it's going to make your membership, well, you know, definitely way more dynamic going forward. And then over the next couple of weeks, so again, we're going to be doing these webcasts and coaching classes pretty much every Wednesday at noon. You know, the weeks that I'm coaching, again, I do take my strategic time and things like that. So I would encourage, so you'll always get an invitation, you know, the Monday before or over the weekend. And if you want to go ahead and ask a question, you have an opportunity to ask a question. And we do have 3 questions that I will get to later on during our session here today. But it's really an opportunity for you to kind of interact with me, pick my brain. You know, I've been doing this now for 25 years. I can add a lot of value to what you're doing just by this interaction. I will always have my topics that I want to discuss, and just so you know, where I pull the topics from, like, and you see there's 3 of them here on the screen, this is what I'm talking to my clients about. These are things that have come up in my work in the last 5 to 7 days. So we're always going to get, I'm always going to share with you kind of the here and now, what's relevant, right? What's working now, not stuff that's, you know, several quarters old or even several months old. And again, if you can't make it, the replay will always be available. Next thing, I've blocked out an hour. I don't expect to spend an hour. Okay, I really think it's going to be a situation where we'll go through everything. If there are no questions, then we don't have to worry about you know, we don't have to worry about anything from that. And yes, Jamie, I'm going to address Faith Camp because that was a big snafu, and I'm going to cover that. So, and I'll do that in a minute. So we expect to launch the new version of Practice Power somewhere in the 3rd quarter. I'm hoping early in the 3rd quarter. What I thought was a little project has now turned into a big project because we're revamping everything about the site, theme, how information is put together, what information is out there, so on. So, you know, that's it. If you're invited to this webinar, so right now all the members are going to be invited to this webcast. when we're ready to launch PracticePower, only the elite access members will have access to the website because, again, you're paying for it. You're going to get that added piece. We'll have plans and some really cool things to do. If you're already a paying member of PracticePower, your fee will never go up as long as you maintain your membership. So the cool thing is you're all going to get a great deal because I want to thank you for your loyalty. And again, we'll announce that down the road. This is not a sales webcast. So I want to make that very clear. Okay, so that's where we are at that. Now, since Jamie was nice enough to talk about Basecamp and bring it up, obviously I didn't think I was going to get away with not discussing it today. So here's what the initial thought was, and look, I fail more than anybody, so I will say this is definitely on me. Our thought process was I use Basecamp in my private coaching work for a number of my clients because it's really a cool interactive tool. It's really like an online project management piece. You can post things, you can answer questions, you can content, yeah, you can even do live chats. It's a really dynamic platform. And a member of my team, and again, it's on me, I said, look, go find out if we could actually moderate this thing. And what I say by moderate is, have people only respond to people that they want, and it's not going to become a free-for-all. I was told that that was possible and that it was set up to do so. So when we launched it this week, yesterday more importantly, it was not set up that way, nor can it be set up that way. So for me, it was going to be something that I was going to use to really make our community dynamic, and quite frankly, a safe place for all of you guys to share ideas, right? It doesn't matter what broker-dealer, custodian, things like that you're with, you're going to have that opportunity to go do that. Unfortunately, that's not going to work. So we have other options, and I still want to execute some sort of dynamic message, chat board, coaching board, because I have a lot of things that I like to share with you all. I get stuff across my desk every day. I got this really great piece by a compliance attorney about really what they're thinking on the DOL regs are and what that means in English. And I know a lot of firms are still trying to come to grips with what that's going to mean to them. I'm getting data points on that. I'd love to be able to share that with you, and I was going to use Basecamp for that, but unfortunately now we can't. So again, my apologies if you've been kind of jammed up with a lot of kind of crazy email and stuff like that. We killed Basecamp. We killed our Basecamp about 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon. There might be some emails still floating around, so if you just don't answer anything and let it die down, it will die down. And like I said, we'll find another way to execute that, I promise you. So with that being said, let's talk about what we're here to talk about today. And by the way, we do have like Jamie put a question in there. If you're using GoToWebinar, you can post a question, and I'm looking over here because I have another screen here. You can post a question here. If you'd like me to address something real time, I'll be happy to do that. That's what this is for about. So let's get into what I want to talk about today, and then we'll get into what some of you want to talk about today, and then we'll see what time we wrap this all up. So first off, one of the things when May comes about, and I tend not to wait till Memorial Day, I really want to make sure that all my clients understand what they're going to do this summer. Okay, and let me explain what I mean by that. For a lot of us in the world, and especially here in the United States, summer, there's a different rhythm to things. I'm not going to buy into you cannot do business in the summer, because I don't buy that at all. But I do know, like a lot of my clients will take Fridays off and go play golf, or they may have a second home up at the lake or a cabin in the mountains or something like that. Obviously, if you have children, you may do more family vacations because kids are out of school, or if you're, or the kids are home now, so that means we got to change our schedule. I just want you all to make that decision, June, July, August, what's your calendar going to look like? If you're going to modify things, if you're going to adapt things, like take a Friday off or take a little bit more vacation time, because a lot of people do that, hey, not a problem with me. I'm all for that. However, I don't like it haphazard. So here's what I don't want. What I don't want you to do is sit there and say to yourself, well, what I'm going to do is, it's summer, people don't want to do a lot of business, so I'm going to come in anyway, and, I'm just going to hang out. And you get yourself in you create some bad habits. I'd rather you come in the time you normally come in for your business, and if you're done by 2 o'clock, go play 9 holes, go see a movie, go hang out with the kids, go take your spouse out, whatever, right? Go sailing. Do not, under any circumstance, hang out in the office. it creates just a ton of bad habits that come September, when you want to turn it back on again, we got to go unlearn something, right? Unlearn a behavior that doesn't serve us. I've got plenty of clients that really work from like 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning to like 2, Monday through Thursday. They're super productive. They crush it in that window, and literally they go play 9 holes every day, and they're home for dinner at 5, 6 o'clock, just like they would be home, in December, right? So just think about it. Make some decisions on some things. I think that's incredibly important to do, and make that happen. Okay. So I just want to again reiterate that. So again, figure that out, commit to it, and create your schedule around that. Next thing to discuss, centers of influence. Obviously, here we are in May. Everybody knows, hopefully if you know, you'll now will know, that May is what we like to call the start of CPA season. Like deer season and duck season and elk season, there's a season to go hunt CPAs, right? We are now after tax in the middle of that season. So what I want to do is just spend a couple minutes and talk about some what I call best practices, do's and don'ts, and just some observations, okay? And by the way, we have not yet developed an e-learning on this, but I do want to give you some best practices around that. Okay, so first thing, a lot of people believe that CPAs are the best type of COIs because obviously we're involved with tax, they meet with the clients on a regular basis, so on. I mean, there's a lot of logical reasons why, okay? And I agree with that from an outside perspective on the surface. However, inside of that CPA, I want you to think of 3 channels, okay? So I got CPA, channel 1, channel 2, channel 3. Channel 1, CPA psychology, right? We look at this. We don't refer to advisors. We're not comfortable. We don't think it's a good idea, or we don't deal with it, right? That's channel 1. Channel 2. Well, yeah, actually we have a person at Merrill Lynch and Morgan Stanley and UBS and Stifel and an LPL person. So in other words, they do collaborate. Okay. Channel 3. We decided we wanted to integrate it ourselves. So what we did is we either brought in, right, a CFP or a couple of advisors, or we have a strategic alliance, a paid strategic alliance with an advisor. And so we handle in-house. So hey, thanks for asking, but we're well taken care of, right? ABC, 3 channels. In my experiences, when I do this live, and I say of all 3 channels, which one do you think is the best prospect to build a relationship, a referral relationship with? 80 to 90% of the room is going to take the first channel. Well, because logically, right, they don't have anybody. Right? They don't have a relationship. They don't do it in-house. So intellectually, you say, well, that's the person I want to go talk to. And my experiences are they're the worst one to go talk to because they don't want a relationship. They look at it as a conflict. They don't want to deal with it, right? And whether it's right or wrong, it's what they believe, right? And nobody, look, not me, not anybody on this webinar is going to change that person's opinion. Right? You can't compel them to shift their belief set. So you can talk to that person, and I know some of you probably have done this for years, decades, and they never move because they don't want to move. It's not like it's not because they have lack of opportunity. They've been invited to do business for years, decades in essence, right? So that's not the one. And the third one is not the one either because they're in essence, they're a competitor. So please don't send any more clients to that entity, right? And by the way, this is why you need to know, one of the things, especially on the CPA side, with all your clients, you need to know who does their taxes. And if you say, well, hey, they go down to H&R Block. Hey, Block has relationships. They can be a competitor, right? Or whatever. You need to know, how your clients get their taxes done, and if they have a CPA, you had better at minimum go Google that CPA firm and know exactly the services they provide. Because if they're in the asset management financial planning business, they are a competitor, and you need to be aware of that. Okay? So number 1's no good. Number 3 is good. Now, number 2. Why would I want to go play with a CPA that already refers people to my competitors? I'll tell you why. Number 1, they already have the psychology. They understand collaboration, right? So I don't have to fight that battle. They already drink the Kool-Aid. The question I have to ask myself is, can I get on their quote-unquote dance card? So can I become one of the 2 or 3 or 4 that they'll use? So, and just so everybody understands how this normally works, I have interviewed CPAs. I used to coach CPAs back in another lifetime, and that's why I don't do it anymore, because they're poor business people. I also have clients who used to be CPAs or have a dual practice. They have told me, and I have confirmed this, that most, if not all, state CPA societies encourage their members never to do a singular referral of any other professional. So whether it's a financial advisor, an attorney, they've always recommended that you give anywhere from 3 to 5 names and say, look, these are quality professionals, go interview all of them and then pick the one you like, because you'll be fine. It releases the liability from the CPA of making a direct endorsement. Okay, so most of them will do that. I need to be on that list. That's my goal. I will take my chances with whoever contacts me. I'll play that game. I'll go play and I'll play to win. But I want to be on number 2. So if you're going to go out there and start looking at your CPA, your client CPAs, now that tax season is over, again, 3 categories. Do some research prior before you reach out to them. Minimum Google their website, find out what they do. And again, the question you want to ask, whether it's over the phone, at breakfast, dinner, lunch, cocktails, whatever it is this question. Tell me how you handle a situation when one of your tax clients comes to you and is looking for a referral to a financial advisor. How do you handle that from a process standpoint, from a protocol standpoint? We don't touch it. We got our guy in house. Or, well, we give them a list of, we give them a couple choices and they go interview, because we want them to make the choice, obviously. You need to find out. Then that's the question that we ask. Well, what do I need to do to get on your schedule? What do I need to do to get on that list, right, from that perspective? So I just want to kind of give you all a little bit of that, because I know a lot of you, here we are in May, going to be reaching out to CPAs and stuff like that. You want to go ahead and make that happen from that perspective, okay? My third item for today is connect with the business plan. So one of the things, here we are in May, and let's be very clear. For a lot of us, the year didn't start off according to plan. The markets did not cooperate. It was a bit of a hurricane the first 6 weeks of the year, right, with things. And especially if you're more transactionally oriented, it would not surprise me if you're behind the curve a little bit. My whole thing is, look, I'm gonna when we come together in June, one of the last June event webcasts we do, I'll talk about doing a mid-year review and kind of lay all that out for everybody, how to do it and what the elements are and things like that. But again, if you follow anything about my morning ritual, you know that reading that business plan is not something you do once a month or once a week or whenever you feel or whenever it shows up in your world. It's something that you want to really, really do on a daily basis. Whether you read the whole thing, you grab a module every day. I mean, literally, it's 3 to 5 minutes. To give you some great concepts, I have had several clients that have taken their business plan and actually digitally recorded it into their iPhone. So in other words, they dictated it into their iPhone, and when they go take their dog for a walk, or they go do something in the morning, or whatever they're doing, they actually listen to it, the audio of the narration of it, and I think that's really cool. So I just want to give you some flexibility from that perspective on that, from that perspective, from there. So just keep that in mind, that there's a lot of ways to get your business plan done, whether you print it out. I know for years that I've been an advocate of, I keep mine in, what do I use? Evernote, right? And I still have my PDF version of it there. But I also went ahead and did bind it in a Levenger. I guess I'm a little older than I thought, and I still like paper from time to time. And so, I mean, just find a modality that works for you, whether it's hearing it, reading it electronically, or you like the tactile touch of paper, right? I'm totally cool with that. Okay, so just some things on that. And again, as a reminder, have your business plan around. So make sure you have a copy, in your office, not buried in some file that you'll never find, but keep it on your desk. I say this respectfully for some of us. I know several clients keep a copy in the bathroom, right? Because, well, some people do their best reading there. So just a lot of different ways, we can pull it off from that perspective. Okay. Now let's get to some questions. So we got 3 questions that were submitted in advance. So let's kind of cover them real quick. And then again, if there's any other questions, I think Sandy or Sandra has a question. I'm gonna try to answer it because I think there's something about it. And just give me a second here, make sure I grab it all. I want to make sure I can articulate it properly. So we'll see about that. But let me handle Jennie first. What are the most successful client appreciation events so far this year? So if the question is so far this year, I probably had about 15 shred days through my client base. A shred day is nothing more than after tax season. You got to do this well in advance too. Don't try to don't try to call a company April 15th and say I need a truck. Not going to happen. Shred day is basically where you sponsor a shred truck, either in your parking lot or a parking lot of your partner CPA, or I had somebody just do it at the county park, and that was interesting, where, hey, we're going to do this and bring your documents, and it could be something as simple as truck and that's it, which I don't prefer, quite frankly. The best example I have is a shred day. They bring 3 or 4 food trucks in. It's almost like a little carnival. It goes on from, it's a Saturday, from like 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. Very well attended, works really, really, really well. And I think that's good. So I think a shred day is something you should always put on the board this time of year. Going backwards, I do have, I think we had 28 or 30 Valentine's Day events, and these are for our single ladies. So clients will host, and when I say single, they could be married, they just can't bring their spouse. It's a women's only event, quite frankly. Very well done. We tend to do those obviously right around Valentine's Day. There's no presentation, no program, nothing like that. If you want to do something, you can get like a musician to play some music. We've had people do that, characters, musicians, stuff like that. If you want to do a little entertainment, those are always great. And again, if you have and you have to look at your books of business, right, and look at your demographics. If you have a number of women, single ladies, whether because of divorce or in your book of business, and I think, again, demographically, women live longer than men, so you're going to have this. It's a great way to add some goodwill, some great value. You encourage them to bring a guest, and that works out really, really, really well. And it's just really something I really would advocate to do. Again, the shred day, I think everybody should do. I think the ladies' Valentine's Day lunch you should definitely do. And the third one, again, year to date, I am a huge fan in January doing what I call a welcome to, well, in this case, welcome to 2016 event, right? What a welcome to 2016 event looks like is, health and wealth, right? Typically, most human beings, especially in this country, resolution 1A is I want to get healthier, lose weight, get fit, right? Resolution 1B, get my finances in order, get my economics in order, right? Get my retirement in order. So in the month of January, what you need to remember, the average human being is self-motivated in January. They don't need any accountability. They don't need any motivation. That's where people do the most gym sign-ups, sign up for the most diet plans, create a budget, all those things. Now, by February, that's all gone, but you have the month of January to take advantage of this human dynamic. So I really love the idea of hosting a Health and Wealth 2016, or now in this case, Health and Wealth 2017, where you would do a topic, not a market update, I prefer not, something around financial planning, retirement planning, Social Security, stuff like that. If you wanted to bring a speaker in for that, you could, no problem there. And then ideally what you would do, you would partner with a health professional, anti-aging doctor, intern, chiropractor, nutritionist, anything like that, right, would make sense for me. You would invite your clients, guests, and again, maybe you'd have a list of prospects you'd invite. My perfect world, the other party would invite people also, right? So you have this co-event. That will really jumpstart your marketing and your business development in the year because, again, you have this opportunity to kind of, really kind of stuff the pipeline. So again, shred event, Valentine's Day ladies luncheon, and then welcome to the new year. I think those are three just great events to do. John asked, explain the difference between tactical and strategic time. So I'm going to change this question because there's actually three types of time, and I just modified this in my own thinking. For years, if you've been around me, you've heard me talk about tactical time, right, which is what all of us do now, right, which is we see clients, we make our contacts, it's kind of doing the business, right? Everybody knows what that means to them. And then strategic time in the past was three things or combinations of three things, right? It was working on your business, business plans, marketing plans, segmentation, strategies, systemization, things like that, segmentation. So working on the business, right? C credits, right, in some cases. Then it would also be working on yourself. So that would be, events, seminars, things like that to make you a better person. That would be working on you. And then the third chunk we had was downtime, renewal, right? Here's the problem, and I ran across this myself. I co-opted strategic time to mostly mean work on projects, work on Joe, mostly work on projects though, about 80–90%. And what I realized was that I was taking all the strategic time, and I was still like, man, I'm frying out, right? In other words, I'm getting a little crispy here. So what's going on? So what I realized was that from that perspective, that there's a third time you need to have in your thinking and in your strategic calendars. We have tactical time or T time, right? We have strategic time or S time. I'm now going to introduce, when I redo some of my work, you'll hear me talk about this, R time or renewal time. Renewal time is you get away from your business. You get away from it and you just renew yourself. And I don't know what that means to you. Whether that's sitting on the beach with a cocktail, it's going to the golf course several days, going on a cruise, hanging out with the family. I don't know what it means. Everybody's going to be different, right? So I'm not going to say here's what it looks like. But it's definitely not around the office. My preference is it's not around your environment. So, to me, my definition of renewal time, and as you can see, if you're watching, I got a pretty cool office. It's big. It's got a lot of windows, a balcony outside you can't see because of the way we're set up here. I got my motorized desk that goes up and down. It's up right now, and it's a tremendous environment for me to do stuff like this. I will not spend any of my art time in here. I will get out of Dodge, whether that's take a drive. And I think for most people, art time, you need to have a local place that you can kind of set up shop, maybe a couple hours drive, so it's not economically challenging to do. And then, you take your trips, right? And before somebody asks me, well, how much art time should you take? I don't have a good answer yet because we're still experimenting with it. I know for me, it's a minimum of a long weekend every month, and it's a week every quarter at the end of the quarter. That's going to be my current thinking on it because I think you have to renew yourself. And I think, again, the challenge we found, at least personally myself, and I've talked to several of my clients, is that strategic time really becomes work time and just a different venue. And over the last couple of years, and this will probably be for another topic down the road, I've had clients over the last 3 years. We had one 3 years ago take a 1-month sabbatical and literally disappear from their business, had their team handle everything. Mostly July, August is the window to do that. 2 years ago, I think I had 4 do it because he came to the business planning workshop, opened up his mouth, and now 4 people did it. And I think this year I'm going to have like almost 10 clients that are going to take a 30-day sabbatical and get out of their office, not be around their office, travel. Now, can you be hooked up to your office? You can be, but it's really about renewal, okay? So just kind of keep that in mind. So hopefully John answers your question, plus a little bonus. Then Ken asks, this is a big question, what are some trends that you're seeing in the industry? So before, I'm not going to address the DOL thing, okay? I'm just not right now because I don't have enough information where I want to say, here's how it looks. Trust me, on one of these I will say, here's what it looks like, because every firm and every entity is going to interpret it differently because it's up to the firms to make that interpretation, all right? That's where we're at with that. But as far as trends go, so obviously the first trend is everybody gets older and we don't have enough young people coming into the business, but that's not really what you're asking. Here's what I see in my client base. I definitely see, I think this will definitely be accurate with the DOL piece, that we're going to see even a faster, larger, bigger move to fees. I just have a tough time because I look at my transactional clients, and the first quarter sucked. And if you're a fixed income bond person, it still sucks a little bit because you have cash and no inventory, right? You can't replace yield anymore when bonds get called. So we're problematic there. Okay. The trend that I see is definitely going to more financial planning, so more planning based for sure. I definitely see, more fee-based. I definitely see more fee-based. And when I say financial planning-based, I don't mean just free planning. I mean paid planning. I've got clients in every firm, and when I say firm, wirehouses, who actually execute paid planning engagements. Now, they're not lucrative because of the splits and stuff like that. So it's not, you're not going to retire and make a business on that. But I do see that as a trend. Okay, I really, 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 truly do. And again, I really see a trend more on the fee-based side. So I definitely see that going on. The other thing I see is a quicker adaptation of technology, and I think in two folds, if you will. Number one, we think as a communication tool, it's just a matter of time before all of you are doing what I'm doing, whether it's with a client in a client review or you're doing a virtual client event. You'll have, and it may not be this exact platform, but you'll have an opportunity to utilize this for virtual client events, virtual reviews, things like that. And I think for a lot of the marketplace, you're going to need to do that because, we have a situation where a lot of your clients in retirement are going to move away unless you happen to be domiciled in Florida or Arizona or South Carolina or one of the lower cost states. If you're in a high cost and not great climate state, you got to realize that structurally and strategically you may have attrition, and you want to condition your clients not to have to think they have to come in your office all the time. Okay, so we see that. The second place we see technology is, and I predicted this, several months ago at a meeting I did for some of my clients. I think some of you here were actually in that meeting. That we think every advisor will have access to their own robo-advisor. That you'll have that. It's no secret. Morgan Stanley hired the head of Schwab Tech several months ago with the express goal of building out a robo platform. LPL, or Linsco Private Ledger, is going to license BlackRock's robo platform. All of you will have access to that going forward. It's going to be a competitive necessity. All right, it will not be optional. You're going to need a place to put the little money, passive, automated, where there can be revenue. And so it's going to happen. So I think as long as if you get your minds around that. We are also seeing the minimums for fee-based accounts radically coming down. We've already seen the last month or so at several firms in, I think, anticipation of the DOL regulations. So those are some things that I see from my perspective. I think we're going to be in a window soon. I've said this if you listen to some of my podcasts over the last several months. I really believe that, first off, we're going to have an exodus of this industry over the next 10 years because of age. We just know we're an old, and I say this respectfully, we're an old industry. We're an old profession, and we're not attracting enough young people to do a one-on-one replacement, right? So a couple things happen. Number one, that means there'll be less competition eventually. Now, I think that window is going to shrink because people I've talked to, and even some clients that have this going on right now. I mean, I just talked to a gentleman, he's a client of mine. He's the youngest guy in the office, and he ain't that young, and I say that respectfully. And he's already said, the grumblings in the office are some of these people are in their late 60s, mid 70s. Is they're like, I'm not going to get my 65. I'm not going to do this fee-based stuff. I'm just going to retire. And I think you're going to see a lot of people in this industry, that are not going to want to adapt to the new, quite frankly, in the new world, which is coming in the next 12 to 18 months. And I think you're going to see, it would not surprise me to see a mass exodus in the next 24 to 36 months from the people that just are not going to adapt to this. So two things, tremendous opportunities if you know what to do and what to look. But it's only an opportunity if you're organized. I do believe the average practice is going to have more households. Because I think fees will come down a little bit over time. So I think you're going to have to either be this kind of boutique-y, 150 household kind of thing, right? Lean, mean, very profitable. Or I think you're going to have this kind of mega team, right? And have, what I call an enterprise model, multiple advisors, things like that, some real scale there. I think you really don't want to be, because you're not either place. So I think, and I don't think this has to be decided today. I just think, it's definitely a strategic trend that we see in the industry, quite frankly, going forward. So, I mean, hopefully that answers Ken's question. I don't know exactly what he meant by that. And then we did have one come in from Sandra, and I'm going to try to answer this. The advisors in our office and many clients seem to have, I don't know what that word is, but she's talking about a malaise, if you will. Well, first of all, on the advisor side, I can't help that. So here's what the malaise is. If your psychology is linked to the market, so in other words, good economy, good, good indicators, I'm in a good mood, market feels good, I'm good, ready to go, you will never have control over your business. You'll never, quite frankly, you only have control over your own emotions. So that's problematic, right? And if advisors are more transactionally based, I know they're not having a good time, because it's not a good time. If they're bond buyers, like I said, I know they're not having a good time. That's why I do see the industry going more to a planning fee-based model, because it disassociates that, right? It's all about financial plans, running your models, making sure allocations are good. We're not going to really worry so much inside and outside of the market. I think that's going to be the future that way. As far as the clients are concerned, so again, it goes back to conditioning. So if your clients are conditioned because you're conditioned about the markets and benchmarks and alpha over those benchmarks, you're always going to be sensitive to the markets. If your clients are more positioned on income, again, financial planning, retirement planning, things like that, and that's our focal point, right? And we just run money as a byproduct of that plan, it desensitizes, disassociates the sensitivity of the markets, right? And so that's, again, and I'm not saying that's for everybody, but I think that's the way you handle it. If you're, and I've got clients that run money, and I again, so there's really, there's, again, you can have the identity of being a money manager, a financial advisor. You could have the identity of being a financial advisor and financial planner, and you outsource the running of the money. Again, there's all different models, and we're not going to get into it here, but there's a lot of different ways to do that. And so, first of all, you got to understand, what business am I in? And then the second question is, should I still be in that business, right? If it's emotionally not where I need to be and stuff like that. But getting to my point, I always remind my money managers or my portfolio managers that you have to understand that if you're going to go do this, that you got to make sure your emotions are in check. Because I'll tell you, in the first quarter of this year, my clients that were the money managers, PMs, I had a much more challenging time with them because of the markets than their client bases. Their clients were quiet. You always have your nervous people, but the first 6 weeks of the year, quite frankly, I can say this across my entire client base, it was pretty quiet. None of the clients were calling in and, were calling their advisors and freaked out about the market. Now, the advisors were freaked out, but the investors weren't. So that just tells me that I think we as an industry still have this oversensitivity to things, and we have not figured out how to really master our emotions. And until we do that, we're always going to be at risk. So again, I don't know though if that's again, if your malaise is tied to the markets, then the only way you get through it is A, you hope the markets get better, or B, make a decision to disassociate from those markets and focus on your clients and the relationships. Real quick, and then I want to wrap this up. Again, we can go up to an hour, but I want to keep it tight. Last week, I spoke at the National Association of Active Investment Managers. Nice people, all technicians, all think they have the best black box in the world, right? And I made the statement to them, and I'll make it to everybody here, then we'll wrap it up. There's a tendency to do a couple things. I think a lot of people fall in love with their business, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It may not be the best thing. So if they fall in love with their business. If you're a portfolio manager or money manager, you tend to fall in love with your portfolios. or your investment style, or your black box, I like to call it, right? You love your black box, right? You may love your business and stuff like that. The real trick is, the real secret is to fall in love with your clients. The clients are what matters. Without your clients, the black box doesn't matter. The business doesn't matter. If you fall in love with your clients and make that your primary thing to really, again, and I don't use the word fiduciary because it's a nice word or it's bandied about, but really truly love your clients and do right by them, you'll never have to worry about this business. You'll never have to worry about what happens in the markets, what happens in the economy, because your clients will always be loyal to you because they know you care. So just kind of keep that in mind, okay? Now, with that being said, so we are going to be back here a week from today. 12 o'clock. This is kind of the format, so I just want to give everybody a heads up. Now, I may throw some PowerPoints in there every once in a while if I got some things I want to share. But this is how we're going to do it. So think of this as a live coaching class, things like that. PracticePower, just real quick, and I'll let everybody bounce out. So I want you to kind of, here's the distinction / metaphor I want to use. I want you to start thinking of PracticePower as a health club, a gym. And your membership fee gets you access to it 24/7, things like that, all the cool things that we do. And I want you to look at this as kind of a weekly class for members to come and pick my brain. As Sandy picked my brain, Jamie obviously asked a question, Jenny asked a question, John and Ken also here. Next time you get an invitation, which you will again over the weekend or on Monday, and when you have a chance to register, put a question down. I'll address it. I'll do my best to provide you maximum value, but this is kind of the format that we're going to use going forward. And again, I want to thank you all for being here. I know you're all very busy people. We will let you know when the replay is available and where you can access if you need to. Just in case you miss, again, obviously you were here today, but in the future, if you miss something, you want to kind of just see what I talk about, we'll try to enclose the notes in there also so you know what the topics are. And with that, we are done. Thank you for being here. I'll see you all again in 7 days.